Good morning, YouTube family. It's Andrea here at VW Family Farm, and it is an early, foggy, rainy Sunday morning. We actually got up, it rained all night. We got up to get ready for church and come out and do the chores real quick before we left, and Emily saved the day by spotting a cow in the backfield that she said, "I think you got a dead cow." So I always panic when that happens, my heart sinks. And I looked out the back window, and way back there was a big white and black looking cow. And there's a heifer we've been keeping an eye on. She's a first-time heifer that we've been trying to watch closely, and I knew it was her, and she looked dead from the house. So long story short, Lane and I jumped on the mule. We're still in pajamas at this point. No equipment, nothing. Run back there because we thought she was dead, but we wanted to check and help her if we could. She was in the middle of trying to calve and had just wore herself out. Apparently it happened during the night, and she had got the calf's head out and couldn't get it any further. And that is a sad reality that sometimes just happens to first-time heifers. A certain percentage of them lose their calves every year. So I hate it. It bothers me every single time. And we talked about yesterday trying to just get her up to the house so we could just watch her constantly. But she's pretty wild. She doesn't like people. And so it's a hard call. It's like she's late in pregnancy. Do we risk trying to run her up here? Or do we just leave her? And a lot of times it's fine. But this time it wasn't. So we get back there, she's moving, the baby was already dead. She had delivered its head, and then when they do that, the head will swell, and the calf will die, and they're born, but they're not all the way born, and so they usually don't make it unless you just catch it really, really fast, and you'd have to be just watching them constantly. So Lane and I had nothing to try to get this calf pulled out with. It was stuck, and a lot of times you have to use chains and pullers and all kinds of stuff in order to try to save the cow. So Lane was quick thinking. We grabbed a strap off a trailer and we wound up getting it pulled out after a few minutes. The cow was still alive. She was over on her side. She was bloating because she had basically given up at that point. She wasn't even pushing and helping us. We had to do all the pulling for her. So as soon as we got it out, we pushed her up on her side, and she started belching, which is a normal part of cow digestion. They have 4 stomachs, and a lot of them digesting their food is belching back up, and if they can't do that, it's not long before they will bloat up and die. So I'm going to take you guys back there. We came back to the house. I've came already once more and got meds to give her because there's a risk of infection now that she had a dead baby in her for I don't know exactly how long. Just to be on the safe side, I've given her something. We're going back there again to build a fence around her so later this afternoon we can try to get her up because she is full of milk, and I want to try to milk some of that off of her because I can save that colostrum for future use for calves that need it. And I think I'm going to try to train her to be a new milk cow. I'll have to milk her every single day because now she has no calf on her. So I'll take y'all along for that too, seeing how that goes, because she is not a people person right now. So we'll see how that winds up. But let's head back there. We're going to get that fence put up around her. Ben is putting out some hay, and we're going to try to take the core of the hay that's left after we roll it out and wedge that against her back because she's wanting to lay back down, and that will spell disaster. So let's go. So here's the sweet mama. She doesn't like people a whole lot. She'd probably be running off if she was able. But you can see she's chilly. She's laid out here all night. I feel bad for her. We're taking care of you, girl. You can see Ben rolled out some hay for the cows, and sometimes the core will fall off this hay and roller. You can see Ben pulling the hay off. So Ben is wedging hay behind her. And then we're going to build a fence around her to keep the other cows off of her, and also so later we can come down here,
she's shivering,
and use the calf to help get her up to the house so I can take good care of her. Before she had the calf, we really had no way to get her up to the house.
I think that'll warm her up.
So piling her full of hay to she can eat it, it can keep her warm. We've done about what we can do at this point.
I was out checking beaver traps this morning for the second day in a row, and Andrea called and said we got a problem. I was like, oh man, not again. Here we go again. But anyway, they handled it. I got here and they'd already had the calf pulled. I'm super proud of Emily. She's seen it all the way from the house, which is a pretty good little jog up there. And if they wouldn't all done their part, we'd have probably lost this cow and the calf. But hopefully we can get her back to good health. You can see she's kind of shivering. She's cold.
She's muddy. She's poopy.
Muddy. You can see right here where she had wallered all in this, made a mud hole.
And just in case you don't know a ton about cows, which I didn't used to, I'm learning all the time, but this can happen really quickly. When they start laboring with a calf, if they don't have it in a timely manner, and you know that too if you have goats or sheep or anything like that, there's a certain amount of time you give them to labor on their own, and then you intervene and help them. It's the same way when a woman has a baby. You don't just leave them forever to try to do it on their own. There's a certain point you have to intervene and help, or take the risk that you're going to lose the cow, the calf, one or both. So we were actually just out here yesterday, and she was fine. We've had our eye on her because she was getting an udder, and there's just some signs to look for in cows. We knew she was getting close, but she was fine and had no idea that this was gonna occur just overnight like this. But I am so glad that she's okay too. I hate that we lost the calf so bad. I mean, it just breaks my heart every time, but I'm glad we didn't lose her too. She is a daughter to my milk cow Josie that I've showed you before. Pretty Josie. So I've been looking forward to her calving for a long time now, so that I can move her up in my milk herd and try to start milking her. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to give her some tender loving care and just take care of her and start milking her. Lane's getting her some water.
Oop.
And the way these things go, just all of a sudden, here in a little bit, she'll probably just get up. And then she'll just start walking around, and that's the best thing for her. It's just to get up and start moving. I've given her something in case she has fever and infection, because we did have to put our hands in there and help get the calf out. I mean, we had to majorly pull to get this calf out. So I don't want her to get an infection.
Clay?
Yes.
Start putting these up. I'm gonna go ahead and hook back up to that bale and move it out of here. Just come straight down, get around her, and then go back. You need to give her a little room. Maybe bring the wire about outside of where the bale is,
so they can't get right to it.
Getting up and go out past her, 15, 20 feet.
And the cows can't get as close to her. We don't want the cows getting as close to her trying to eat the hay.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and roll this the rest of the way out.
Are we taking the wire up to the gate to try to just funnel her to the gate?
We're going to take it to there and just block her in, because I don't know exactly how much is on that row.
Okay.
You can start on the north side and then take all the excess up towards the gate, but I don't.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. That way we can, up there at the gate, I don't know if y'all can see it, right up there's a gate to get out, and then it goes all the way that way to our house. So we're wanting to fence her in so that later we can try to funnel her out that gate and get her to the house. You giving her more?
Yeah. You need a pillow?
She's a good girl. I've always loved this little heifer. She's very spunky, isn't she?
She's ornery.
She's ornery. But she's got a lot of spunk. I think she'll pull through this.
She's beautiful and got a really good milking udder.
Yeah. She's a beauty. we're using some new Gallagher stakes. What do you think of those?
Like them. Work good.
They step in really good, it looks like.
Yeah.
And that's one big thing to consider when you're buying electric fence stakes. All right, so it's been several hours. We're going back to check on her. We've got a generator, we've got my milking machine and all kinds of stuff. We're gonna try to milk her in the field if we need to, if she can't get up and walk to the house. She's never been milked before and she's a bit wild when she's feeling good, so we'll see how this goes.
Never know.
Letting us do this. That's great. So we need to get some of this colostrum off of her. This way we can milk her out here in the field and then just keep letting her lay here. She's toasty under that hay. She's in a good spot, and then we can take her back up to the barn maybe later or tomorrow when she's got some more strength back and milk her up there. The thing I'm not sure of yet is how we're going to get to the other two quarters. I don't know if we're going to have to roll her on her side or what to get to those. There we go. Well, it's looking like she's too weak to get up right now, and sometimes they never get up, but we're gonna hope that she will. But we got her rolled over, and we're gonna go ahead and milk that other side, and then we'll just cover her back up with hay, make sure she can get to water, and we'll come back after a while and check on her. Calm after this, and if you like us.
I like you. I've always liked you.
You're a sweetie. Not really, but still like you. All right, it's the next morning, and we're out here. We're gonna try to get her up. She's not gotten up on her own yet, so that's a pretty bad sign. But we're not giving up on her. We're gonna try to get her up. We've got to help her in the back end. Cows have to get up on their front hoofs first and then push their back end up. It takes quite a bit of strength, and so we're gonna have to give her some help and see if that'll work. We kind of gotta wait a second for her to start trying. We can't pick her up in the front and the back end, so she's got to try in the front, and then we'll jump in as soon as she does and try to pick up the back. Come on, girl. Yeah. Legs. Oh, her foot's curved. Nope, that foot's, the foot on the right side's curved like this. She's on her foot like this.
Front, back.
Back. You can do this. Come on. I know you got spunk left in you. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get up. Nope, you ain't falling over on me. Get up. All right, well, it's a no-go this morning. She's not getting up. So we've got her set up where she's at with a pile of feed, water, and hay. And we called around, and we live around a lot of dairy farmers that are nice to give us advice when we need it. And they said with her being young like that, hopefully she will get up. She's trying. She's dragged herself from way over there to here, which is at least 6 or 8 feet, which is a good sign. She's trying. She's just exhausted. She was literally at the point of death when we found her, and had probably labored most of the night. So I think she's just wore out. I'm hoping she'll get her strength back. She's a very spunky girl. You would never be this close to her if she wasn't feeling weak. But this eating is a good sign, and we're hoping later she'll either get herself up or we can come back and try and help her again.
Try to get up. Try to get up.
Come on. Hey. Come on, girl. So honestly, there's some parts of farming we'd just rather not show y'all. But in an effort to be transparent, I'm gonna finish this story no matter how it ends. And I don't even know yet how it's gonna end. So we're down here, get over this hot wire, and she's moved, but she's sitting here and you can see her head is curled around. And sometimes that's a good thing, where that's just their natural position to kind of curl up. I've actually had one bloat before that the neighbor come and helped me relieve the bloat, and he actually tied her head to her feet for a little bit because it keeps them upright, to keep them from laying flat again and bloating up. And then we untied it and it got up and it was okay. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when we pull her head to straighten her back around, her neck just looks really funny. It's just a really unnatural position. It just looks more and more like this is not going to turn out very good. We're trying to get her back in the right position and she just keeps curling her head back around. Like she's stiff in that position. Well, it's another morning. It's actually been, let's see, it's actually been 48 hours since she calved, and last night she looked like she was about to breathe her last breath. It didn't look good. Her head was curved around. We were getting concerned about milk fever, or just that she was had hurt something and she was never going to get up in her back from calving, and we were this close to putting her down because it's really tough to see an animal suffer and just keep letting them suffer. And so you have to make some hard decisions as a farmer and decide when you're just prolonging their suffering and when it looks like they're not going to get better. But we didn't do it. I actually filmed an ending to this video to tell y'all that we had put her down, because that's about what we were about to do. And then we just couldn't do it. So we, Ben talked to some people about a couple more things we can try. So we thought, if she's alive this morning, first thing this morning, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try a couple more things. We're gonna go get some steroids to give her to try to strengthen her back so maybe she can get up. Because otherwise she is young and healthy. This is not an old cow we're dealing with. That would be kind of a different situation. Also, she needs an IV of calcium, because having a calf can deplete the calcium, and that could be causing some of this problem. So we're gonna do everything we can. We're also gonna give her an IV of B12 and a couple other things, and just try to get this girl on her feet. It may not work. She still may die from this, but we just can't give up yet. So that's what we're out here doing. And thankfully she is still alive. She was laid out again, but Ben just propped her back up. We're about to head and get the medicines and the equipment to do this, because this is not simple. We're gonna have to get help to run this IV, so I don't know that I'll be videoing it, because there'll be other people here that may not want to be on camera. So, but that's what we're doing. We're still trying. And there she is. She's a pretty thing, aren't you? All right, we are heading back in the field. Yesterday was wild. It took us a while to get the IV in. We actually had someone come over and help us, and her veins, she was just dehydrated, and she's just small, so it was incredibly difficult to get the IV in, but we wound up getting it and giving her the calcium and fluids and everything that she needed. And she actually had perked up by last night, but we just kind of left her alone to recover. We're heading back here again. It's been 3 days now of her being down. We're hoping to try to get her up this morning. We will see.
I didn't bring no gloves.
You want to get up, girl? You want to get up? You try and we'll help you. Come on. She's moved quite a distance during the night, so.
Yeah, she was right down there.
And she just looks better. Her head's up, her ears are up. She just looks a lot better.
Let me give you some power punch.
We got people watching us. So right now Ben is drenching her with, it's called Power Punch. It's molasses, vitamins, and minerals. It just gives them a shot of energy. We're just hoping that it will, she's drinking it, you can see.
Yeah, she's trying to spit it out.
But it actually probably tastes pretty good to her because it's full of molasses. But we're hoping that it will give her a shot of energy so she can maybe get up. Giving her some food. Ben's getting her some water, but everybody else thinks he's got feed for them. Which, don't feel sorry for them. They're not hungry. They've got 4 protein tubs out here, which is just like free choice feed all the time. She's eating. That's a good sign. All right, so we are going to end this right here. We'll keep y'all updated. We're still working with her. We're pretty much doing all we can do and just trying to feed, water, get her strength up so maybe she can get up. We're just not willing to give up on her yet. Just trying to do everything we can. And so that's how it stands right now. So we'll try to keep y'all updated. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. God bless.